who come out to their parents for the first time and share their sexual orientation, this can be a very stressful period. This involves changes in the family system as well as changes with how the family and the member coming out relate to the outside world with their new identity. The first step in the process of coming out begins with the individual. The individual deciding to tell their parents about their sexual identity must weigh a combination of factors, including fears, benefits, and outcomes associated with what they think will happen when they reveal who they are to their parents. The main reason one may decide to come out to their parents is so that they can live a more honest life. Individuals hiding their sexual identity often feel anxiety and fear associated with constantly having to pretend to be something they are not. Sharing this information with others can help relieve this fear and help them live who they are. Perhaps another reason the person wants to come out is related to their relationships. Constantly hiding who one is can lead to a lack of intimacy between family members, especially between a child who used to feel they could deal with their parents and now feels disconnected and lost from them due to hiding who they are. Someone coming out may also enjoy the idea of being surrounded by a community of others like them and being able to interact with that community openly without the fear of someone finding out who they are or feeling like they've been lied to. Sharing this allows them to connect with others like them and form support in those systems. Most of all, a person may just want to dispel the myths associated with coming out with a certain sexual orientation. They want their family and friends to know that they're the same person and nothing has changed just because of who they've chosen to love. They may also want to embrace a more political side of this and show that the myths and stigmas associated are wrong. Despite the positives this person might think will happen when they come out, they must also weigh these positives against the negative outcomes that are possible. These outcomes include loss of relationships, harassment, perhaps even discrimination, and worst of all, maybe even violence against them due to their sexual orientation. The first thing most people coming out think about is the rejection they may face from family members and friends. They worry that perhaps the person that they love and trust with their new identity will not accept them for who they are and may even leave them out in the cold, refusing to interact with them anymore based solely on who they are. This rejection can be intense and can have very serious consequences for the person coming out. An estimated 40% of adolescents who are homeless and been kicked out of the house identify as lesbian, gay, transgender, or bisexual. The statistic shows that this is not an unfounded fear for this group. Just as a sense of community can be gained in the LGBTQ movement when someone comes out, a sense of community can also be lost if religious practices do not line up with a person's sexual orientation. This can lead to more rejection, loss of resources, and the loss of a social network. If worse comes to worse, youth may feel when they come out that they might be subject to violence from either their family or others in their community. The Human Rights Campaign has found that LGBT youth are twice as likely to be assaulted physically or sexually by their community as compared with their heterosexual peers. After weighing the positives and negatives, an adolescent may decide it is time to come out to their parents. If an adolescent chooses to do this, how can a parent or parents respond in an appropriate way for the family system to adapt well and for the child to feel supported and loved during this transition in their life? Parents may be surprised at first and suffer some stress related to feeling as if they don't know their youth, especially if they did not expect their child to come out to them. This may also relate from a child waiting so long, which may show a parent that the child for some reason felt that they couldn't share this important information with the parent. How the parent responds regardless of their surprise is integral to helping the family system cope and helping the individual coming out cope. Parents can interact in a couple different ways that moderate the stress, either increasing the stress for the family or decreasing and helping everyone adapt to the new situation and new identity fully. A parent that listens and keeps lines of communication open between them and their child help their child and support them through this transition. Communication allows both parties to understand each other's worries and thoughts and to share information so that they may both understand the situation more fully. Warmth and support go a long way for helping parents support their child through this transition. Parents who foster a sense of self-worth and confidence in their child can help them stand up to both coming out themselves and dealing with possible negative repercussions from those outside the family system who may not feel that this is an acceptable lifestyle. Parents must also be sure to protect their child physically as well as psychologically. Talking about safe sex practices often does not happen in school sex education, so talking about these and helping your teenager make smart sexual decisions will help them transition more healthily into their new lifestyle and relationships. Part of the adaptation process is also for parents to deal and understand their own biases. It is not unusual for parents, especially those with a religious background, to feel like they've done something wrong for their youth to be this way. This may require counseling to understand nothing has happened wrong, but this is just a natural part of adolescents growing up and understanding themselves. Sometimes issues with the coming out transition may be too much for the family system to handle itself, and they need to seek professional help. These professionals can help both the individual and family create adaptive and effective systems for transitioning and understanding each other in this time of possible stressors. Overall, this is a time of multiple transitions and stressors for a family. However, if a family approaches this in a possible way that makes the family system adapt and change effectively, it can be a source of growth and harmony for the entire family that can help bring a family together and grow together more.